right, everybody. It's March 11th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Get the select board meeting going. This meeting is being recorded by MCM, I think, but there's nobody here from MCM to broadcast it. I apologize. My apologies to everybody out there in regards to this. It is being taped on Zoom at the moment. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't have any comments as of the moment. Peter, do you have anything for a town administrator report?
No, I'll be reporting on the town administrator search committee appointments later, so.
Okay. Do we have anybody for public comment?
I'll give it.
Thank you, Trish. No comments from anybody? All right. We have an appointment at 6 p.m. Pete, if you can keep the tabs on the time for that, I'd be gratefully appreciative. Why don't we take up action item number 1? So I'll give you and Steve and Trish a brief overview of this. I had Steve Lynch approach me last week, and I believe the ZBA took this matter up last night as part of the discussion in regards to the truck traffic that is going through the town of Marshfield in order to, I don't know if they're replenishing Duxbury's beach with sand or it's a seawall thing. I know I contacted Bob, I think, a few months ago in regards to it. In regards to truck traffic, is there anything that the town can do to limit it? And Bob is under the impression that we could not. And the whole thing is that with Powder Point Bridge, what they're considering is redoing it. They're looking at either keeping it status quo or do it so they can handle the truck traffic. So Steve was asking if the select board could take it up and maybe if we're all in agreement on it, send a letter to Duxbury and maybe even the Mass DOT in regards to how they should build this bridge. In my opinion, right now, just the way things are going, is that they should build it for the truck traffic, especially with the amount of work they've been doing down the beach there, and it'll probably continue as well over the years. And with the amount of truck traffic going through, and our roads and bridges I would say we're getting worn down over time for it, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be us to be responsible for those repairs and everything. So, Steve, do you have any thoughts on it?
So you're just looking to draft some sort of letter to send to Duxbury asking if there's anything that we can do about the truck noise and the truck traffic?
No, to ask them to consider building the bridge to handle the truck traffic. Because they're planning on replacing that Powder Point Bridge, I believe. And discussions are they want to keep some residents there, or many want to keep the Powder Point Bridge as its wooden structure, I believe, which cannot handle the weight of dump trucks with sand on it. And there's also the discussion of building the bridge where it could handle the truck traffic that Duxbury needs for its beaches.
Gotcha. So it's a request that they build a stronger or more robust bridge.
Consider a bridge that can handle the truck traffic, the needs for the beach, especially with the truck traffic. I would look at. I will, if depending on how you two go along with it, I'll have something drafted and then we can review it and then go from there. So I'm just looking to see if you guys are interested in doing something, to send a letter to them and maybe even the Mass DOT on it.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a stab at drafting something. I just don't know what the likelihood of success is, because that's going to cost them more money to build a stronger, sturdier bridge, and kind of the horse is already out of the barn. So I'm not really sure they would start the permitting process all over again and go out to bid and just bear the cost of.
To be honest with you, I don't even think they have decided on it just yet.
Okay.
So I think it's still open for, I guess you could say, public comment. As much as I've been following this, I don't even think they have decided on what they're going to build at the moment. So I guess if that's the case, then especially with the amount of truck traffic going down and our roads. And I know we had to replace, I think it was the Rainbow Bridge, even though Duxbury kicked in, I think their portion, I believe Plymouth County, because of some houses further down, along Duxbury Beach, was it Garnet, is it Garnet Bay? The beach down there, with some houses on it. Plymouth County, I don't think coughed up their portion for the town, so I think we had to pick that up at the end of the day a few years ago, so. Did you have any thoughts on it, Trish?
I was thinking that maybe we should just start with, I don't know that they're aware. I mean, I'm sure they're aware that the trucks have to go through our town,
Yep.
but that there's been complaints and that with that truck traffic and the weather, the potholes, it's just going to increase it, and that, so the wear and tear and the noise, and that we've received complaints, and at least let them know that before we go into much more and see if they're willing to do something about it. Maybe they have a suggestion. I don't know what the suggestion could be,
Yeah,
but
like I said, they're in it's either keep the bridge a status quo, but do the repairs,
if we
or
let
go
them know.
build a brand new bridge as a stronger structure, I think is.
And then I would hope that the select board would let the residents know that, they have to go through Marshfield in order to get there, and that we are having complaints about it.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be part of their decision.
That's what I'm thinking as well, is that not just to send it to Duxbury, but also Mass DOT, and let them know maybe they could help out with this and everything. I think it's just unfair to us as a town in regards to our roads being used for it, but also the residents that live down there, as you pointed out, that they have to deal with the truck traffic and all that. I know there was an article that was put out, I think a few days ago, in regards to, was it Cobb's Corner down in Duxbury, and a resident down there wanted the speed limit lowered to 25, and I think he was successful of it. And the one thing he pointed out in that article was that the truck traffic going through there with the trucks with the sand and whatever else they're doing, because of their speed and the amount of truck traffic that was going through there. So I think the Duxbury, certain areas of Duxbury, especially down with the Tremont and Careswell meet, the Duxbury residents down there have their concerns as well. So it's everybody has their concerns. So you're both good with forming a draft letter to send to the Duxbury Select Board, and I would say we should incorporate Mass DOT, and then we'll get it done and then present it to you and then go from there.
Yeah, if you want to take a stab at drafting something, we can visit it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. I appreciate that. I don't think we need to vote on that, right, Peter?
No.
Okay. All right, here's the big one. Prop 2.5 discussion. Sitting down with Peter and Charlie and going over this. I know we're gonna have the discussion. The thing is, we're not under the gun to take a vote tonight on it, right?
You're not under the gun to, basically what we're asking for tonight, both, Charlie and I and Meg as well, is we're seeking direction from the board as to what their preference is. There's basically two choices, and as Charlie has articulated, first in December, when he identified a $4.5 million projected deficit, and now it's about $7.5 million. So you've got a deficit. You've got two choices that are basically there. One is to develop a budget that does not incorporate any revenue raised by an override, whether it be a debt exclusion, where you could take some of the existing debt that's on operational budgets now and basically do a refi and put that out as a debt exclusion and take that off the operational budget and free up some money that way, or by doing just a general override, which would provide additional revenue or additional room within your levy to add to your revenue that's available so that you could address some of this. What you don't have to do tonight is identify how much you want to do or which type that you want to do. But we need to have direction. If there's not a majority or The sentiment of the board is not to allow the residents to have a choice as to whether or not they want to approve or override and just do cuts. We want to, we'll just do that, and we'll present you with a budget that will be, to put it diplomatically, draconian. There will be cuts in every single department, and the impact will be significant. If you want to, mitigate it, you can allow for an override, or a debt exclusion. It can make up part of the projected deficit. It can make up all of the projected deficit. Where I think overrides have been successful, in my experience, there is a combination of reductions in spending and additional revenue, so that it shows that you're just not throwing money at a problem. You're making the structural modifications so that you don't have this repeating every several years. So we're just looking for direction at this point as to whether there is consensus for placing an override question before the town. And if there is, we'll work on identifying options or numbers, for an override. If there is not, we'll just do the cut budget.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
So you're asking us if we want it on the ballot so the residents decide about an override?
If you want to put a ballot question for an override on the ballot, we want, if you're willing to consider that, you can tell us, and we'll give you options as to, this many million we'll give you this level of services, and what we were recommending cuts. We're looking at, I think, a combination of both as the preferred route. But if you're not interested in putting a ballot question on, we'll just do the cuts.
Okay. Oh,
This is an unfortunate situation, in my opinion, that we're in this. I don't think we should be in it. We just had a debt exclusion vote a couple months ago. And now we're looking at a potentially $7.5 million, well, we are looking at a $7.5 million deficit on a budget. And now we're gonna put the more weight back on the taxpayers in this town, which many of them have already told me that they can't afford any more tax increases. We have a spending problem, I think. And the other problem is that we have a state government, in my opinion, that is the enemy to the communities, regards to how they handle their disbursement of our taxpayer dollars out. And I would say the MBTA Communities Act is a clear example of that. Regards to holding you hostage with your own tax dollar monies. It doesn't seem like the state has any issues, and nor do they seem to pay any consequences for their actions. But it comes down to, at the local level, 3 people like us to make big decisions for our town, in which a portion of people are going to be mad at us, and the portion of people are going to be happy with our decision. It's unfortunate, and but we chose to run for these positions. We chose to. Everybody, I think, a lot of people knew where we stood on certain things, and we're going to have to step up to the plate and make a big decision like this. And I know it's not going to be. You're not going to. It's not going to be an easy answer to this whatsoever. It's unfortunate that we're in this hole right now. Steve, do you want anything to say?
Yes, thank you. I think we should give our financial team some direction tonight because
Mhm.
if there isn't majority support for a proposed override, then I wouldn't want them to spend hours of their precious time working on something that's just not going to go anywhere, right? They're kind of running triage right now. They're having to prioritize different things. So if there isn't support for an override, then I don't want them to spend a lot of time working on that kind of budget. So I think what we should do is present a town meeting Budget A and Budget B. Budget A has a proposed override with new revenue and spending cuts. And then Budget B is no new revenue. Here's what we have to cut. And then that way, what we're showing the voters is a path where if you want to maintain something close to an existing level of services, here's a pathway to get there. Here's what it's going to cost. And here is what that money is going to. And if there's no support for an override, then here are the cuts that we have to make. Here are the staff positions that we're going to have to lay off. And here's what that means in real terms. But I think the most important piece is just the education, right? People are going to have very specific questions. We need to answer them. And I think they should know what the money is going to, how we got to this point, as well as how we compare to our peers. Are we paying more than average in terms of our tax burden? Are we better than average? Are we right in the middle? So I think the education piece is really important. But I think at the end of the day too, right? It's never just one thing, right? It's always things in a combination of factors for any problem. And I would say that we're not alone. We're in a situation where the cost of goods and services is increasing at a higher rate than the amount of revenue that we're allowed to raise. And we're not alone. And I can say that we're not alone because since 2024, Abington, Braintree, Bridgewater, Duxbury, Hanover, Hanson, Hingham, Norwell, and Whitman have all proposed overrides because it's just a tight and difficult environment. And I've referenced this before. I know you guys have heard it, so I apologize. But if anyone's watching who hasn't tuned into our past meetings, right, I've referenced before the Mass Municipal Association report entitled A Perfect Storm, Cities and Towns Face Historic Fiscal Pressures. And kind of the crux of the issue is what we're talking about tonight, which is that under Proposition 2.5, you cannot increase your property taxes year on year by more than 2.5% plus new growth for revenue, right? Or new construction. So when you're in the 2010s, when inflation is below 2%, that's a very achievable environment to live within. But from that point forward, inflation has been exceeding the amount of revenue that you're allowed to raise. So that means that in real dollars, every single year, you are cutting spending. And so what they did was a look back in their report. And what they found was that across the whole state, municipalities between 2010 and 2022, that their average growth in spending per year in real dollars was only 0.6%. Meanwhile, that same period for the state budget, it increased by 2.8% a year. And what I think is important too is that if you do a look back for the amount of unrestricted state aid that cities and towns get, which is the amount of the state aid that you have the most flexibility and discretion to spend in your local budget, going back to 2002, if you account for inflation, that's down 25%. So it's like a double whammy where we're not getting as much money from the state as we used to, and we still have the cost of goods and services increasing at a faster rate than the revenue that we're allowed to raise, right? And if you're in a private business, when your costs go up, right, you increase your prices. But in local government, you have to go to the voters and you need their approval if you want to go beyond 2.5%. So that's essentially the question that we're putting in front of them and a decision that we have to make tonight if we want to move forward. And so I took the methodology from that report and I tried to apply it to Marshfield specifically. And the way I was able to do that was there's a really helpful website, the Division of Local Service the state puts together. It's just this huge data bank. You could get lost in it for hours. But what I did was I took Marshfield specifically. You can take any town, but I took our receipts over the years and our spending over the years. And then I took information from the Consumer Price Index to account for inflation and apply it to Marshfield. So from 2010 through 2024, our average growth in spending in real dollars was 0.94%. So that's a longer look back. If you look at this high inflationary period from 2020 through 2024, it's negative 0.2%. And that's kind of the crux of the issue. Because again, when your costs are growing at a faster rate than the revenue you can raise, you are cutting spending in real dollars every single year. So that's not the whole story and the whole picture, but it is a big part of it. And it's a difficult decision. But the reason I just want to talk about what's happening in other towns is it goes to show that it's a statewide problem. It's not, isolated to Marshfield. And it's a big decision, right? Because at the same time that the local governments are feeling stretched and under financial pressures and constraints, so are the residents, right? So it's a big ask to make and it's a big decision. But I think what we should do tonight is just direct our financial team to say, okay, it's going to have to be a combination of new revenue and spending cuts and give the voters a path to choose. If you want to get something, we're not going to get back to a current level of services, but if you've got something close to it, here's how we do it. Here's where your money's going to go to, and here's what it's going to cost. And if you don't do that, here's option B, and here are the cuts that we're going to have to make. So I think we put two paths in front of the town meeting voters, and if it passes, then it goes to the ballot. But I think that's something we should do tonight is just move forward with a budget A and budget B and put it on the warrant for town meeting. And then as a ballot question, if it passes at town meeting.
I mean, I believe this was visited back in 2007 when we had an operational override. And now we're back here once again doing it. And the whole thing is that it's much, I could be wrong about this, but it appears to be much worse than it was back then. And the whole thing is that I don't see, at the rate we're going right now, I don't see anything changing. And I'm afraid that we're going to do this regardless of how we do it, but we're going to be back at it again. And when I look at it is that I think we have to look at our overall spending and figure that out. It's and then this, like I said, the state, I mean, we're spending oodles of dollars on things that, in my opinion, we shouldn't be. And I was just informed yesterday that I think the sheriff's office is going to have to cut positions, and that could be a big impact on a lot of the communities in the area as well. So, this is, I just don't know if we're gonna, I think you make a good argument, Steve. It's just that I got the feeling that no matter what we do, I think we're gonna be back at this, even if we approve it, I think we're gonna be back visiting this again at some point in the near future. Unless there are things that we can do now to address the situation we're in.
Yeah.
Trish?
First of all, I think that was a load of crap, okay? We're in this position because the previous select board failed us. Our leaders failed us. I mean, you can say we're all in this together and the same as for all these other towns, but we're like double, triple what everyone else is going through because people were saying yes all the time with no way to pay for it, and nobody was questioning it. So we're in this position because of the previous leaders, and we'd still be in this position if that person did not walk out the door that put us in this position. And the only reason he is gone is because he was making poor decisions, and it finally came to a head. But, and I agree with Eric that we, these departments hear that we're in trouble, but they keep talking about capital expenses and we need this and we need that. And, I just think people need to take this seriously. And it's going to take us a couple of years to get out of this. And we've all got to come together. But from what I see in this town, this silly fighting online and just butting heads, That's not going to get us anywhere. And I'm not here to point well, actually, I am here to point fingers, but I'd like to solve the problem and work together instead of continuing to fight, because it's just ridiculous. The things people say about me, I mean, I just can't believe adults act this way. They'd never say it to my face. If they would, I mean, I have office meetings. I welcome all of them to come in and say it to my face, and they wouldn't. But that's a load of crap we're in this position because we've been failed. And, I think the residents, they don't deserve this. But again, we've got to solve this problem and we've got to dig ourselves out. And I think we've got to put it to the residents and give them options. Because they have every right to figure out how they want to solve this.
Mr. Chair.
Want to say something?
So I've been in this situation in other communities. And as a member of a town council in a neighboring community, as a town administrator in other communities. And I hear the chair's concerns that we're just going to be back here again. And if you don't change the way that you're doing business to accommodate the new conditions that cities and towns are in, you're right. If we don't do things differently, it's not going to work. You are going to be back here. And if you don't give people, residents, a roadmap for where you're going, what are you going to do with the money that you're asking for? If you don't give them a roadmap, you're not going to win, even if you put it on the ballot. So what you need to do, first of all, is lay out where, how you got here. And how you got here is partially people didn't make hard decisions. People said yes too much. Okay. That when you do that and you aren't looking long-term, you don't realize how much trouble you're getting into, or you don't care. Okay. I don't know what the case was here. It's also, there are things that are not in the town's control that have changed. The inflation rate has gone up. The pension assessments that are coming from outside have gone up. Our revenue's probably gone up 3.5%, 4% max every year. We get 2.5 and maybe a point and a half in new growth. Pensions have gone up 8% a year for 3 or 4 years. We have no control over that. We're assessed. We get a bill. We pay it. Health insurance has skyrocketed. Absolutely skyrocketed. And thirdly, we're not immune from any of the inflation that has happened, that is affecting everybody. And it makes it hard for us to go to them and say, we're going to ask you to pay more. I get that. So what you have to do is say to the public, in order, in my experience, to get an override passed, is this is what we'll do with the money. This is how we will restructure offices to be leaner and efficient and try to get, the same level of service, doing more with less. Then this is what we're going to do going forward. This is what we project that we will have for revenue for the next 5 years. In Braintree, we projected we can grow by 3.5 to 3.6% a year every year. And if we go over that amount, we acknowledge that there is a gap and we have to make that up. And then we figure out how we're going to make it up. Do we do it non-recurring? Do we cut something else? How do we get to what we think we're going to make? The other thing that's going on here is a lot of your commercial property is in a state of flux. People don't know whether they're going to be working at home or in offices anymore. people don't shop at retail like they used to. So people aren't building brick and mortar house or stores anymore. People are buying food differently. Restaurants are operating differently. So all those sources of revenue where we can get more out of the business community are stagnant, and the cost of borrowing money is high. So people aren't building as fast as they used to. And so we're not getting, and in past years, you know, people would be building and it would bail us out and we could pretend that we don't have a problem when we had a problem. And we can make it look like we're doing okay. And there was a lot of, you know, paying for recurring expenses. Yeah, you've got your hearing.
Should we stop or do we continue
Yeah.
on with this? Are we good? And then we can.
I'll wrap up. There
Well, like I
was a-
said, we can,
yeah,
we can
all
get
right.
back to this,
But
so we're at 6 o'clock.
yeah,
so-
you can start it and then just suspend it. So you can open the hearing now.
All right. We will come back to this discussion. It's,
Okay.
it's a very important discussion. All right. So we have a 6 o'clock hearing, change of manager and application filed by the RBSBW Incorporated DBA Roach Brothers Supermarkets, John Elliott, manager of record, premises located at 605 Plain Street, Marshfield, Mass. 02050. Is that you?
Larry Baxter.
Larry, back, you want to come up, sit down there? Thank you, Larry. So let's see here. I move that the select board vote to open the public hearing for a change of manager scheduled for 6 PM on March 11, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm gonna read the public hearing notice. Notice is hereby given under chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended, that there will be a public hearing on Monday, March 9th. Actually, it's March 11th. March 11th, 2026 at 6 PM in the Select Board Chamber, Marshfield Town Hall, 870 Moraine Street, Marshfield, 02050, on the application for a change of manager from RBSBW Incorporated DBA Roach Brothers Supermarkets, John Elliott, manager of record. Premises located at 605 Plain Street, Marshfield, Mass. 02050. And the Marshfield Select Board License Authority, Eric Kelly, Stephen Darcy, Patricia Simpson. And this was published in the Coastal Mariner, 2/26/26. So Lawrence Robert Baxter,
Yes.
thank you for coming for us. This seems like a pretty, I was just going through it. I don't see any really concerns with it in regards to the application. If I'm under the impression it's it's revolving around the liquor license, right?
Yes.
So,
I was here. I spent 3 years in Marshfield. I've only been gone for a little over a year, and now I'm back here again.
so the people out there
Looks
understand.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully they get the right carpet treatment, right?
I know.
Steve, do you have any questions or comments on it?
No, thanks.
Thanks.
Trish?
Nope.
All right. I think, is there anybody in the public that has any comments or anything like that for this? I don't see any. All right, so I'm gonna I'll close this portion of the hearing by motion and deliberate. So do I have a second to close this hearing?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
And is there anything for you two to deliberate or anything like that? You good? Okay. So call for a second. I move that the select board approve the application for a change of manager from John Elliott to Lawrence Baxter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very
I wish
much.
you well.
Thanks. Nice seeing you again.
Did you
Likewise.
want to say anything or? No?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I am tip certified. I've had licenses in multiple stores and things like that. So,
Okay.
You're happy to be back.
yes. Yep. Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Where are you guys located?
5 Plain Street.
All right.
All right, Peter, ready? So,
Yeah,
continue on, get your train of thought
Yeah,
back.
I'm on a roll.
You really were.
Basically, you have to have a roadmap to give people to say, we're asking you for this money and this is where we're going to go. And while we're traveling there, we will tell you, where we are, if we're going off the road, by how much and how we're gonna close the gap. And, or we're doing better and we're working better. But, so you have a choice again, if you just say, you know what, we're gonna just do it all now and not go back to the taxpayers and give them options. We think it's best to just cut, we'll do that. If you want us to lay out options that include an override, we'll do that as well. But I think what you're going to need is not just this is what the A budget's going to look like, this is what the B's budget looks like. If you vote, what you're going to need is if you vote for this and you and you decide to give us increased revenue in return, these are the conditions under which we'll work so that we're not back here again. Norwell did an operational override before I got there that said, if you give us this, we won't be back in 6 years. We'll grow by between 3% and 4% each year. And we won't ask for another operational override for 6 years. They did not ask for one for 13. So you just have to change your culture to live in the new world that limits your revenue, that where growth is not predictable, and you just have to adjust how you deliver. So we can do it a hard way, or we can, do it a way that is very, very hard. So,
Peter, the point of contact to ask, did you say Norwell asked for one 13 years later?
Didn't pass.
But they asked for one.
Yeah, 13 years later.
Yeah.
They said 6.
But it's not uncommon either.
Yeah.
See, the thing is my look at it is that, I'd say town meeting last year, I spent a couple of hours, especially with Danielle, in regards to a grade and step increase for a couple employees in town. And I was opposed to it. And town meeting, and good for them that they got people rallied at town meeting to go there and support the cause and all that, and they got it. But I had a good feeling even at that time, we were not in a good position. And so the whole thing is that even if I was to allow me to vote to go to the ballot, I just don't know if I had the same confidence in regards to people rejecting this. And, if people want to be mad at me, if I decide to vote going forward this, that's fine. But I think the real people that should be held responsible are the people at the state level and the ridiculous spending that they're doing up there. All this green energy, in my opinion, the amount of money in the billions we're spending on illegal immigration.
But that's not going to help us here.
But something, they could redirect that money here. And so, I think everybody, it's the pressure, I guess, was on us, but the whole thing is, I think a lot of people should be putting the pressure on the governor and his state legislatures to change how they do business. And also, I think, like Peter said, there's a problem in this town as well in regards to how we spend our money and everything like that. And that needs to change as well. So, Steve, do you have anything else to add?
I mean, that's something that's like largely outside of our control. I mean, we have to deal with what's in front of us. So again, I can't put it any better than Peter did. I think we show the voters a path and what it's going to take to get there, and give them as much information as possible to make a choice between a tough option and a really tough option.
Trish, anything to add?
I think by giving them options, they feel like they have a little more control than if we say one way or the other. And it really comes down to, I think they need to decide which way we deal with this, even though, again, I feel like we were all led down this path, and then it just got worse and worse as we looked into it. So, and it's unfortunate, but the way I look at it is we had to stop it. It stopped, and we're moving forward, and the only way to move forward is to make some decisions, but I think the residents are going to want to be a part of that.
I'll be honest with Trish, I think even, no matter what we do, I wouldn't say no matter what we do, but let's say we put options out there, I don't think it's gonna end there. I don't think it's gonna stop. I mean, my look at it is that I think before we approve any kind of override, that we need to get some fixes within right now, good faith fixes, to show the taxpayers that we're going to do better with our spending and curb it down. I think by giving an override, even with the options, it's either, I guess you could look at it, well, I would look at it as a Band-Aid over the situation, and nothing will get fixed. I think it'll be business as usual. And it can't be business as usual as we see right now, in my opinion. So.
Can I just say, I
yeah,
know,
go ahead.
I know
Go
you're
ahead,
going to
Trish.
make a motion, but I guess I like what Peter had to say as far as putting the stipulation on there, that, well, one, we're going to offer this, however, they have to follow a couple of guidelines and agree to that. And then, again, I feel like it gives us a little bit more control. I also feel that if we look at these budgets with the department heads and everybody's honest and willing to make the necessary cuts, I think it's going to be a combo of both. And I hear what you're saying. It's, and I said that when I was just talking. I said, listening to these department heads asking for capital things and operating things, and it's like they're not hearing how bad of a situation we're in, because they haven't already just started saying, okay, we can do without that, they're like coming to us with all the wants, not the needs. But I think we need to show them, no, this is where it needs to be now.
I don't disagree with you. The whole thing is that I wish that came years ago,
Yeah.
So we all have to make our decisions in regards to our thought process and moving this town forward. So what do we, I guess the question is, for the motion is, are we motioning to put a couple of options on the
Yeah.
ballot, or what are we looking at here?
If you're just directing us to prepare budget options that include a potential override.
So,
And
all right, so we're gonna
what
put,
we'll do is
so
we'll
come back.
we'll come back with a budget that we think makes sense, with an override that we think has the best chance to pass. And, with I think, going beyond that, with, the commitments that have to be made to keep within the growth that we think is sustainable going forward for the next 5 years.
How many options are you looking for?
How many
How
options?
many options do you want?
How many options do you want? Do you want, do you just want our best option? Like for one override, one
Well, best
override
of
amount?
what,
Or
right?
do you want us to do an override, with this override amount, you get this, with this override amount, you get that? Do
Well,
you?
one's gonna specify for the residents not to have an override, right?
Yeah, I'll have that done tomorrow.
So that's gonna be automatic,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
So the.
No override one's being done no matter what.
Yes, and then, so I guess what we're gonna do is, I guess, how many options we're gonna have regards to a Plan B?
So we'll give you an option with an override, and if you want to reduce it, we'll adjust it. But that's, we'll give you what we think is right.
You got anything?
Yeah, he's basically saying that there's at least one option. Do you want two or three? Do you want two proposed override amounts?
I
or
just
one
do, I
proposed?
think it's best if we just give you
Yeah.
one.
One, yeah.
Just give one and then
One
you can work
override,
on, you
one
can work
with
it from there,
override.
right?
Yeah, one with an override, one without.
Yeah.
That's what we'll give.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
So,
And do we want to make sure we include in the motion the ballot question as well?
That there'll be, no, we'll have the motion for you for a ballot question at the next meeting.
Okay.
yeah, because they'll put the language for
Yep.
for you guys, for all of us to vote on, and then the language will come with that I guess. So so just put two options for the,
A and B. Yep.
all right, so this is what I have. I move that the board vote to authorize Peter and Charlie, excuse me, Peter and Charlie to put forth two options for consideration of a ballot override. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds good.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody. That was tough and painful, but it's done. All right, discussion, vote, consideration, moving town meeting to April 29th. We just had an update on this, Charlie, from Nerese, so can you just,
That's Peter.
Pete, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In regards to our communication with Nerese on the situation.
Yeah, upon further consideration and discussion of Nerese and better appreciation of her concerns, we're going to stick with April 29th.
Nerese, do you want to speak on it,
Do you want me to?
if you would like? You think it's necessary? You think it's necessary?
I don't think she has to, but I always like listening to her.
Well, we
All right,
didn't tell you.
Nerese, you're the one who brought it to our attention, so highlight everybody your concerns, please.
Nerese Casper, Town Clerk and resident. So we spoke earlier about possibly moving the town meeting to a Thursday. The problem is that the Thursday is actually 2 days before our town election. Our town election will be on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to set up our town election until Saturday morning because there's a conflict with the schools on Friday evening. So we'll be there at the crack of dawn on Saturday morning setting up the election. In addition to that, because of the way the state has worked of late, we are now having early voting in Town Hall for 2 weeks prior to the election, which is great for all of the voters, but not so great for us because we have people running in and out of Town Hall all day long voting. So it's just, it puts a terrible crunch on us to actually have town meeting on Thursday, have town meeting on Wednesday, possibly go into Thursday, and not know where we're going to go from there. If we stick with Monday, it works out timing-wise, and we have to go at least with the Monday because of the way our charter is written.
Yeah, town meeting was supposed to be held on
On
the
the fourth.
fourth Monday.
Fourth Monday.
Yeah, I know, because you mentioned we were going to have it on Thursday, but that was the one.
Wednesday, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
that was
excuse me.
That's all right. I just wanted to clarify that.
Today.
It didn't really
Yeah,
matter.
tomorrow it will be Thursday, yes.
Yes, so,
And not soon enough.
all right, and you brought that to Peter and Charlie's attention, and they're going to work on that. And
Yeah,
make
no, I
sure it
think,
happens.
I think we came up with a working plan that,
Yeah.
works for everybody.
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
No, thank you.
Thank you for paying attention.
It's my job.
All right, so there won't be any vote for that. That was a late arrival of news, but I appreciate Nerese for that. Discussion, Town Administrator Search Committee announcement, next steps for Select Board. Peter announced selected candidates for TA Search Committee and provide updates. Peter will detail the next steps, so I think this is what a lot of people are waiting for,
Okay.
Peter, so go for it.
Thank you. It was, yeah, it was interesting, and it was a privilege to be able to interview all 14 of the people that submitted applications to serve on the search committee. I can say with confidence that any one of them could or would do a fine job. After careful consideration by Charlie and I, we've come to an agreement on 5 members, and the following 5 are going to be serving on the committee. Christine McCarthy, who's a longtime Marshfield resident, former accountant, town accountant in Marshfield, and finance director in the neighboring town of Norwell. Doug Russell, who has worked on various community projects, formerly on the school building committee. Sheriff Spada, who is a longtime resident with finance experience and a good perspective on what the town's concerns are. Dennis Kelleher, who has worked in a number of various town boards and has also a financial background, and is a longtime resident as well. And Joe Ring, who is a resident who has been involved in various parts of the community and in a number of community activities over the years. So those 5 are the 5 that we've chosen. We will be having an initial meeting next Thursday to expedite the work, quite frankly, and get going with the applicant, a review of the applications as quickly as possible, start scheduling interviews and getting finalists to you. I can say that I think that this crop of applicants is stronger than what we had in the previous go-round. And I think you're going to be pleased with the candidates that are going to be recommended to you.
How many total candidates do we have for, that put in for TA?
Put in for, I believe we're in the 12 range, 14 range, somewhere around there.
I thought it was higher than that. I didn't even think that's the count, but I wasn't too sure.
I was looking at them as they came in, so I
Yeah.
wasn't keeping track.
Friday, there was a whirlwind of them that came.
Yeah, a lot of them
last
came
day.
in last minute, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have we have 5 people that have been selected. So all right, so what's the next step in regards to these candidates selected, timeline for them to start meeting?
Next step is to try to get them all in the same room next Thursday, get them to, down to a schedule where we can start booking people to come in to be interviewed, go over what they want what kind of questions that they want to ask, make sure that they're put in a form that isn't going to get anybody in trouble, and then, we'll create a timeline for getting folks in front of you.
Have we established a meeting place for them to work out of?
Not yet, but we've got options, and it can either be here or it can be in the new meeting room. It can be, a number of places.
Okay. Steve, you have anything you want to add in on this?
No, thanks for all the extra work you're doing to help on that front, and it sounds like you've got a good array of applicable experience on the Citizen Search Committee, and it's good to hear that we've got a good crop of applicants.
Yes, no, thank you, Peter, for all the extra work.
Yep, thank you, and I look forward to this committee meeting and see who they select for candidates to bring forward to the select board to hopefully, once and for all, or at least hopefully for quite a period of time, get us a town administrator on a full-time basis. That's what we need to get this town moving forward, without a doubt.
I need you to do that, too.
Charlie's wife does too.
All right. Item number 4, job posting for administrative assistant to the select board. We had one of our staffers leave, and now we're looking to replace, but especially in light of our financial situation. Peter, I'm sure you and Charlie have discussed this. Do we need another full-time person in there? Can it be a part-time? What are we looking at for options?
I think
before
when we
delve
add-
into
I
how we're
thi-
gonna do this?
I think, speaking candidly, I think that it's, in light of the current fiscal circumstances, I would say that we can advertise the position, but advertise that there's a potential that it may be part-time.
Maybe part-time.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
Yeah.
advertise it as full-time?
We can advertise what the job is and say that it may be part-time, it may be full-time. Yeah.
I look at it as if we're gonna do that, we might just make it part-time for the time being, but,
Okay.
Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I don't want someone to feel like they got the bait and switch, but it
Yep.
would be good to have some flexibility, because maybe someone's in a situation right now where part-time does work for them, but if there's a prospect of something full-time down the road, so I think probably having the flexibility behooves us.
So you lean towards, if we advertise it, part-time?
It could be full-time or part-time.
Well, why don't I advertise it as part-time with the potential to go to full?
No, that's fine. I don't want someone, we bring them in here and all of a sudden, they may get 40 hours and then come to find out a month later, they're down to 20, and then all of a sudden, they can't do it, and then we're searching for somebody else. So I would rather do part-time, and then, if there's a possibility, if they were interested in doing full-time afterwards, then, we can entertain that to the person, but what's your thoughts, Trish?
That's fine. I would be careful wording it to Ashley, because I don't think she's going to be happy with a part-time person. Because it's a lot of work. And I realize it's money, but I would just, it is a lot of work. They have a lot going on in there.
I'm confident that, with Ashley's skills, that, if we get the right person, that she'll make it work, and she'll be all right in there, as well as the new person. So,
We're looking at a variety of changes in the way work assignments here
Okay,
in this building.
okay, great.
Yeah, we've got some that are overutilized, some that are under, and we're just, without adding new money, we're just trying to reassign people where it makes sense, where we're getting the most out of them.
Perfect.
Right now, it's not efficient.
Okay, then I'm for it.
yeah, that's what I've been pushing for a long time, is getting more efficiency out of who we have and all that and everything, so. All right, so part-time, okay, I guess the other thing is, we've had a group of people put names in. Do you want to go with those lists, or do you want to re-advertise the position? Of course, the last go-around, it was based on a full-time position, too.
Yeah, we should put it out again.
Steve,
Yeah.
re-advertise?
Yeah, because if they were going for a full-time, they might not be happy.
Correct. Is there anything else, Peter, you think we need to incorporate?
No,
For
I
this?
think that, Danielle and I can, and Charlie will get it, and Ashley will get it written the right way.
All right, so here's what I'm going to. I'm gonna motion that Peter and Charlie advertise this job as part-time with job responsibilities. All right. I think that's it, because I asked Trish about re-advertising, so I motion that Peter and Charlie advertise the select board staff office position as part-time with job responsibilities posted as well. Does that do it for you, Peter?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Discussion vote revolving fund for Seaflower Cafe, Council on Aging. So Carol Hamilton sends in, she's got a letter here, dated March 5th, 2026. I am writing to you today regarding our revolving account for the Seaflower Cafe for the Council on Aging. We are about to purchase a much-needed venting system and discovered an issue with the account. This revolving account has currently exceeded the spending limit for the fiscal year of $60,000. The venting system will cost a little over $10,000. We currently have $40,121.82 in the revolving account. There are two questions related to the situation. Could we approach the select board and ask them to raise the spending limit for the current fiscal year of 2026? Do you think they would be amenable to this? Secondly, could we revisit the spending limit of this revolving account for fiscal year 2027 so that we would not run into the same problem next year? I also want to let you know that we had spoken to Mike Maresco about raising the cap $60,000 for FY '26. He told me that Sean Strobel said he could not raise it. We had reviewed our spending before making this request and knew it would be needed to be increased, but our hands were tied. I have talked to Meg about this, and if we're able to make a few adjustments, I would work with her on coming up with realistic numbers going forward. I will be seeing the team at the budget meeting on 3/11/26, but wanted to get this information out prior to that. Sincerely, Carol Hamilton, Council on Aging. So what are your thoughts there, Peter?
It's not unusual to have a request like this where if you've got an active revolving account where, you know, you may have underestimated by a bit. If you have an expense in the $10,000, dollar range that hits you in a $60,000 account, that can be an anomaly. And so asking for this relief, isn't, I don't have any problem with it. I think she establishes the case for it pretty well.
All right, so are we raising it?
So raising it for this year, and, so that you can vote to give them additional space.
All right, so I have a motion right now for FY '27, so we're going to be looking at FY '26. Is that how I'm looking at it?
So when you get to you
Well,
got,
actually, FY '26 and '27,
Yeah.
so,
Carol's here if you want to see some clarification.
you want to speak on it, Carol?
Hi.
So we just need more money to operate because we can't pay our bills if we can't spend beyond the 60,000. So we need $40,000 to up that by 40,000 for 2026.
For this fiscal year.
Yes. And then I think for 27, you just put that at town meeting and town
yeah,
meeting. would
it goes
vote
into the
that.
motion at 100. You'd be asking in FY '27 for 100 instead of 60, which you asked for last year because it was insufficient, right?
Yeah, because we knew that what we were spending, and the cafe is growing, and so everything has gone up, but we do have sufficient funds. We wouldn't spend beyond that, but just in order to keep it open.
All right, so we're not going to incorporate FY 2027 in this.
Yeah.
It's just going to be FY '26, right?
Well,
And the-
well, you would do it both. How you do this is,
Well-
you'd vote for it tonight.
Yeah,
It goes to special town meeting for a mid-year correction so that you up your amount.
well, she's looking for this fiscal year, it's going to be
Correct.
40,121.82, right? So we're not voting.
An additional 40,000, correct?
Yeah, beyond the 60, right.
You want to get up to 100,000,
Yes.
okay?
Oh, yeah, you know,
In order to
some-
do that, you can approve it. Special town meeting will approve it so that it will take effect this fiscal year. And then in your budget motions, or in your articles at town meeting, there is an authorization of revolving accounts article that you have at every town meeting. And in that, we'll have this account at the higher amount, at the 100,000 amount for FY '27. So Carol won't have to come back here again next year.
Yes.
All right, so with this, so am I just gonna look at, say, increase the spending limit to 100,000?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
All right. So, I move that the board vote to increase FY '26 and FY '27 spending limit. Canton Sea Flower Cafe revolving to 100, all right, so 100,000. All right, you're saying incorporate both FY '26 and FY '27 into this motion, right?
You can if you want, yeah. And because if your intent is to do it this year and next year, you might as well do it.
My only concern is that you're saying it's going to town meeting, not to say that it'll fail at town meeting, but,
Right,
but the whole thing is that,
right, but that you're moving to, you can do the FY '20, you can just vote for FY '26 if you want, but the sense of the board is that you want to do that in FY '27, that's fine too, we'll incorporate it.
I guess we could, let's put it this way, if we go on town meeting, we can approve, we can vote to approve FY '27, then we can put it down as a recommendation from the
Yep.
select board, right? All right, I move that the board vote to increase FY 2026 and FY 2027 spending limit for the Council on Aging Sea Flower Cafe revolving fund to $100,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
All right, waiving the permit fees for building project Council of Aging. Cal, you want to speak on this one as well, or? Sorry about that.
Getting your steps in.
Cal Hammonds is requesting to have the building permit fees waived for a small building project at the COA Senior Center. So if you can describe what you haven't done there, let's.
So we're
residents know.
building a wall in the greeters area to create another office space for privacy and confidentiality. We have like dementia specialists. We have tax counselors. We have social service workers, student interns that are social workers. And we just don't have, we don't always have that private space. And there's enough space in the greeters area to just, if we put a partial wall up, that would create that confidentiality and quiet that a person needs to work. So I talked to Andrew Stewart and talked to the fire chief. They felt that it was very doable and simple. So what Andrew suggested is I ask for the fees to be waived for the permitting right now. And then we're going to submit a plan, and then it'll go through the approval process through the building department. So,
Okay. Questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thanks.
all right, thank you.
I move that the board vote to waive the building permit fees associated with adding a small wall in the office area at the Council of Aging. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote waiving permit fees for Marshfield Dog Park project for the Friends of Marshfield Dog Park. Is there anybody here from Marshfield Dog Park on this? All right.
Why does he always look at you?
Does he, did you want to, are you going to, I guess, present this?
I can if you want to, but it's basically the same thing that we just did. Like,
Just wait, no, I was going to talk about.
But it involves dogs.
Whatever you,
Yes.
whatever you haven't done down there, if you want to highlight whatever you haven't done that
oh,
requires
sure,
this.
sure. So basically, it'd be building a shade structure, one on the big dog side and one on the small dog side, and have a paved ADA compliant walkway that leads to the shade shelter.
All right. It's, how big is it going to be a big shade shelter for on both sides of it?
It's in our binder. There's a little schematic. Nothing crazy. So it's two 12 by 16 shade structures.
Oh, that's a good size.
Yeah.
If you're not going to get the solar panels.
I was
for it.
just gonna
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
I was just gonna say they should.
Yeah. The solar panels would have covered half the park in shade for free. So this is the backup budget option.
Yeah, all right. I move that the board vote to waive the permit application fee for Friends of Marshfield Dog Park to construct shade shelters inside the Marshfield Dog Park. Do I have a second?
Yes, this is just semantics, but I was just checking with Peter. Just building permit fees might be better than just building permit application fee.
It's,
It doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
but it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Second.
Aye.
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 Reservations for Wrexham Beach parking lot for ALS Plunge for Hope on Saturday, March 28, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So there's a letter here from Ashley Coleman. Thank you so much for taking my call. We're looking forward to planning another exciting, albeit very cold, pole plunge for ALS. We are requesting the use of Wrexham Beach parking lot for the ALS Plunge for Hope on Saturday, March 28th. The polar plunge has been held at Wrexham annually since 2019 and has helped raise over $800,000 for critical ALS research and for equipment and support for those living with this terrible disease. As with previous years, this event will be taking place in the parking lot with a quick 10 to 15 minutes on the beach for a quick plunge in the water. The event will start at 12 p.m., with attendees arriving around 11 a.m. for check-in. We will be renting a tent for the center of the parking lot for the registration area, and the tent company knows to get the proper permits that are needed for them to be there. We also have a food truck on site, and the food truck will have the correct permits that the town of Marshfield requires to operate. We'll be expecting between 150 to 200 attendees, and the event will wrap up by 2 p.m. We would like to request to open the bathrooms on site again, and also use of the beach wheelchairs for any attendees with the ALS who might want them to go down to the beach. Any other permits that are required, I'll be glad to get from the town, and ensure that we are following the rules of safety the town has put in place. Thank you, as always, for a wonderful part of the day that not only financially make an impact on the ALS community, but brings so many people together to create memories that will last forever. Please let me know if you need anything else from me. Thank you so much, Ashley Corbin, Director, ALS Hope North. I imagine we worked everything out with Cindy on this?
Yeah, it's
I
on the
don't
next
see-
page. It's on that,
Is it on the next page?
no, it's right here.
Oh, is it right there? All right.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Sullivan, City Castro, aware and gave positive recommendations. This is a regular event that happens every year, and they work with the request to closely. Chief of Staff is aware and well and advised to be standby firefighter as well as other safety observers as well. All right. Usually they have an email on it, but, okay. I move that the board vote to, actually, comments or questions, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, comments?
All
questions?
set.
I move that the board vote to approve the use of Wrexham Beach parking lot for the ALS Plunge for Hope on Saturday, March 28, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., contingent upon proper permitting from Board of Health and positive recommendations from Police and Fire. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion vote on Wellesley Public Schools outdoor marine science field trip to Wrexham Brant Rock from 10 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. on the following dates, March 7th and July 8th. June 8th, excuse me, Wrexham Beach, March 7th, May 21st, and June 8th, Brant Rock. And there's a letter here from the Wellesley Public Schools. To whom it may concern, the Wellesley Public Schools would like to use the Marshfield Beach facilities for an outdoor marine science field trip. We'll be sending approximately 30, 40 second grade children from each school. The trips are fully supervised by parents and teachers, will take place approximately 10 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. The following dates are requested as follows: Thursday, May 7, 26, with a rain date of May 8th. The Hardy School, it'll be at Wrexham, the Hardy School, Thursday, May 7th, at 2026, with a rain date of May 22nd, 2026, at Brant Rock, the Bates School. Thursday, May 21st, 2026, with a rain date of May 22nd, 2026, at Brant Rock, Fisk School. Monday, June 8th, 2026, with a rain date of June 9th, 2026, at Wrexham, Schofield School, at Brant Rock, Sprague School. The students gain enormously by outdoor science work, and we greatly appreciate your cooperation with our effort to provide them with this opportunity. We will, of course, respect your site and return all creatures to the sea before we leave. Teachers will request bathrooms by calling the beach administrator. Thank you in advance for sharing your lovely beaches with us. It's exciting to have students engaging in authentic field investigations. Lisa Fox, PK through 5, Department Head of Science and Technology Engineering, Wellesley Public Schools. Comments or questions, Steve?
Yes, I ran for the select board because I live to deny field trips for school.
Is that it?
Yep.
Trish?
I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I move that the board vote to approve the Wellesley Public Schools outdoor marine science field trip to Wrexham and Beach Brant Rock from 10 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. on the following dates, May 7th and June 8th at Wrexham, and May 7th, May 21st, and June 8th at Brant Rock. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion vote to approve the use of Marshfield Town parking lot for the Troop 424 bottles and cans recycling drive. Before I read all that, do they have a letter in here as well?
Yeah.
Pretty much covered. I think everything's covered in this, so I don't have to go read that. I don't believe. Oh, is this from you, Steve? Steve, all right. So, use the town parking lot for the Troop bottles and cans recycling drive on the following Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon on 3/21/2026, 4/11/2026, 5/16/2026, 6/13/2026, 7/11/2026, 8/8/2026, 9/12/2026, 10/10/2026, and 11/14/2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 And I should have asked you, Steve, since you put this forward, did you have anything to say on it?
No, we've done it before. It's just Troop 424 looking to do a bottling can recycling drive to raise money.
It's kind of a standard thing every year, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Discussion vote on Green Harbor Lobster Pound 2026 parking permit renewal. So this license expired on September 15, 2025. They're renewing it. Renewing it on February 26, 2025. So it's 46 spaces there at $24 a space, at a total of $1,104 for the Green Harbor Lobster Pound, 131 Beach Street. Paul J. Philpott is the manager of record. So, any questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
Move that the board vote to approve the 2026 parking permit renewal for Green Harbor Lobster Pound. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Let's see, donation for the Marshfield Council on Aging in the amount of $325 in memory of Sandy Feinberg. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you. Thank you for the donation.
Yes, absolutely. Trish?
No, thank you.
Okay, I move that the board vote to approve with gratitude a gift of $325 to the Marshfield Council on Aging in memory of Sandy Feinberg. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Discussion and vote to accept two donations to the Ventress Memorial Library in the amounts of $875 and $500 from Goodwill Hunters. Cindy has a letter here, I'll read quickly, from February 20th. Dear members of the Select Board, on behalf of the Ventress Memorial Library, I'm writing to formally request your acceptance of two donations from Goodwill Hunters. The first donation of $875 is to be used for the Young Adult Summer Reading Program. The second donation of $5,000 is to be used for the Children's Summer Reading Program. We are sincerely grateful for the generosity and continued support of the library, Cindy Marcoux. I move that the board vote to approve with gratitude the following gifts. A gift of $875 to the Ventress Memorial Library from Goodwill Hunters. A second gift of $5,000 to the Ventress Memorial Library from Goodwill Hunters. Peter, where she's stating specific areas here, do you think we need to state that in the motion?
Yeah, no, you're accepting the gifts. It's basically let the library know that they're intended for those two uses, and it's up to them to make sure that they adhere to that.
All right, so we're just accepting the gifts, and then
Yep.
everything-
And
we
then
don't have to
they-
state the purpose of it or anything like that, you're
Right.
saying, right? Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Aye.
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 And that looks like the end of it, according to what I see here. I want to thank everybody. I'd like to motion to adjourn at 6:50, March 11th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.